Previously on Phoenix Wright, Trials and Tribulations.
I mean, did you find the ticket in her possession? Wait a minute! The mere fact that the lottery ticket disappeared in no way implicates my client. I have here in my hand the very ticket in question. Oh, son of a... Damn it. He's got more evidence against Maggie? What have I gotten myself into? Potassium cyanide. The very poison used by the killer was in her apron pocket. That's ridiculous. No one told me anything about a bloodstain. He can't see the color red because of his visor. The victim was given a prescription right before going to Tribulations. Where then did the medicine disappear to? Hello, I'm Unca Crunk. Welcome back to Phoenix Wright and the trial of Maggie Bird.
Court will now reconvene for the trial of Maggie Bird. Mr. Godot, your next witness, please. The prosecution calls the lucky old-timer who caught the show over a cup of coffee. Will the witness please take the stand? Eat this guy. Name and occupation, if you don't mind.
My name is Victor Kudo, born and bred in the land of the rising sun. Honor and duty are what make me. Mind you, I can be quite emotional at times too.
We don't need to hear about your Tinder profile, Mr. Kudo. Just tell the court your occupation.
My occupation? Listen, young'un. How much call do you think there is for kimono embroidery here?
Kimono embroidery?
That's what I do, or did, back in Japan. I embroidered family crests on kimonos.
We're still going with the fiction that this takes place in America. All right, whatever.
My ancestors were embroidering kimonos before this country even existed.
Wow, a real craftsman. They're a dying breed. Hey, maybe he could embroider my costume sometime.
Anyway, like I said, there's not much demand for that kind of thing here. So I had to take a job working the cash register at a burger joint, pretending to smile.
That burger joint would have been better off putting him in the kitchen.
Now then, witness. Were you in the restaurant at the time of the incident?
Oh, yes. I was eating some seeds over a cup of cappuccino.
Seeds?
What do you think these are,
I see. So you saw everything that happened, Gramps?
Did I? Oh, yes, I did. I saw it all.
Then please, tell the court. We're all ears.
Sure. I'll tell you every last detail.
He's really getting into this.
What I witnessed. The young man was reading a sports paper. The serving girl brought him a Giavaccino, but she's put something in it.
That's the goth chick! That's the goth chick that we saw for like half a scene.
The man took one sip of it, looked like he was in terrible pain, and then collapsed. That's the serving girl right there in the defendant's chair. I remember her well.
Mr. Kudo, she is not a serving girl. Please refer to her as a waitress.
Yeah, you're as bad as the rest of them. All these newfangled words. What's wrong with the old-fashioned ones, huh? Like and Sir, you cannot say those sort of things in public, let alone in a court of law. That newfangled All this talk of radios and glasses. It's wireless and spectacles, I tell you.
Excuse me?
Listen to me, everyone. Don't forget the old values. Don't let the good old days slip away.
Well, I think it's time to begin the cross-examination, Mr. Wright. We'll never be able to unhear those words.
Yes, Your Honor.
What I witnessed, the cross-examination.
Okay, young man was reading the sports paper. So, you saw the victim then? You saw Mr. Glenn Elg?
I wanted to know if the Guts and Brawn had retained his championship or not.
So he was looking at the sports paper the victim was reading, huh? And at the location in question, there are partitions between the tables on the same side of the restaurant, right?
So what if there are?
If you say that you could see the victim, that means you were sitting at a table on the other side of the restaurant, correct?
I go to that place to drink Cappuccino. I don't go to sit. I don't remember which table I was sitting at.
You mean you go there to eye the waitress?
The serving girl brought me a Cappuccino, but she put something in it.
Mr. Kudo, that is a very grave accusation. Are you sure about what you saw?
Victor Kudo never makes mistakes. I dot every T and cross every I.
I see.
My eyesight's fine. The doctor said I only need spectacles for reading and driving.
I bet his eyes are only really fine when he's scoping out a waitress.
And I saw what the serving girl put in the Cappuccino as well.
I bet I know what's coming up, and something tells me I'm not going to like it. Your Honor, we need more clarification on what was put into the victim's coffee. I'd like to ask that the witness add what he knows about this to his testimony.
I agree. Witness, will you enlighten us, please?
Sure. There's no question about it. She very conspicuously put some white powder in there.
Did she really put that into the coffee?
You doubt me, boy. She took some out of a small brown bottle and sprinkled it in.
Couldn't she have been adding sugar?
Sugar? In a small brown bottle like that?
Like that? Witness, could you please describe the bottle in more concrete terms?
A bottle like this, perhaps?
Leading the witness!
But I don't really care.
Oh, there it is. That's the one.
That's the bottle of potassium cyanide, I presume.
So what did the accused put in the coffee? I think it's clear, don't you?
Yeah.
It's fine. He very clearly saw the goth chick and not, Maggie.
The man took one sip of it. Looked like he was in terrible pain and then collapsed.
Yes, cyanide is a painful way to die. He took just one sip?
You youngins, you waste everything. Those cappuccinos cost $8. In the good old days, we would have drank every last drop, eaten the cup, and then died.
Congratulations. You have earned the title of baddest man to grace the courtroom. You and Oldbag would get along famously. So it was an immediate death? Well, with potassium cyanide, I suppose that is possible.
Oh yes, he slumped over without so much as a twitch. I felt the cappuccino just so I just straight turned sour in my stomach.
Oh yes, I know that feeling.
And the waitress, I presume she is...
That's the serving girl right there in the defense chair. I remember her well.
No, you do not. You said I remember her well in reference to the waitress. Did she have any particular features that you can identify her by?
Particular features? It's a disgrace, that's what it is.
Sorry.
You can see all the way up to her, her knees. She's practically naked in that uniform, underneath all those clothings.
So the particular feature you recognize about the waitress is her outfit. But anyone could wear such a uniform, even me.
Mr. Wright, please spare the court any further mental anguish from that image. I still haven't gotten over the old man's profanity stream.
Don't get all excited, Nick. You've got to keep yourself together. Yes, although, if you want to try that waitress outfit on later, I still have mine. I guess I got a bit carried away. I don't really need to do that, Maya. Thank you.
Yeah, there are the things I recognize about her, too.
He seems pretty sure of himself. What should I do? Rest! Sure, you saw a waitress take the coffee over to the victim. But what matters is whether that waitress was Maggie Bird or not.
Quite right. Mr. Kudo, these other features that you recognize about the defendant, I would ask you to add them to your testimony.
Sure. There was a ribbon in her hair, and her apron straps were loose.
Do you think old CD really saw Maggie do it? Well, he probably had his eye on the waitress the whole time. That's why he was there. But he was there for the cute outfits, right? Not the waitress. I guess. She makes a good point, though. Hey, did I just say something clever? I wonder if the waitress Mr. Kudo saw really was Maggie. That's what we have to figure out, Nick. Okay, I guess I have to present something there. Oh yeah, I have the apron, don't I? Damn it, I went too far. Okay. There we go. The witness's statement is clearly faulty, Your Honor. Wait, what? Excuse me?
I'm sorry, but I can see nothing faulty. Unfortunately, I will have to penalize you, Mr. Wright.
What? Well, excuse me? Oh, do I? Oh, I haven't actually pressed on this yet, have I? You do seem to remember several details about her appearance. But what about the most crucial detail of all? Her face.
As if I wouldn't remember something like that.
Objection!
The witness noticed the straps on the accused apron. He's unlikely to make a mistake about her face.
That's right. I can even tell you the color of the ribbon in her hair. It was red.
So you see, there's nothing wrong with the witness's eyesight. There's no doubt he remembers the waitress pretty well. What should I do? I get the feeling there's something more to this somehow. Ask about the waitress's back. The identifying features you described are all things you would see from the back.
So what?
Is it possible that you never saw the waitress from the front at all?
Objection!
He's got you there, Gramps. Wait, what? People normally talk about facial features when they're asked to describe someone. Or people like you would describe other features that you could only see from the front. A little bit lower down than the face, if you get my drift. But this witness's testimony is nothing but straps and ribbons.
This is harassment. I'll tell you I'm not obsessed with straps and ribbons. I'm just telling you what I saw.
Mr. Kudo, the court requests that you add any details about any identifying features. Features you observed from the front, that is, to your testimony.
Sure.
This old man's testimony is getting longer and longer. And if I can't find a hole in it soon, it'll get even longer, I'll bet.
There wasn't anything that caught my interest about her when I saw her from the front.
You didn't find anything to be distinct, but you did clearly see the witness's face, yes?
No question about it. I didn't come this far to back down now. Victor Kudo never backs down.
That's not the answer I was looking for, but okay. This has turned into a matter of pride for old CD now, I guess. I wonder if he really did see Maggie's face or not. Like I thought, we need some concrete proof on this. Proof that the old guy didn't see the waitress clearly from the front. Do you think CD really saw Maggie do it? Wait, no, okay, no. Just keep going, move along. Gotta get back to it, yeah. All right. Now I can present the apron that he clearly did not see. Okay, here. Already pressed on this, right? Okay. Let's do it. Mr. Kudo, I would like you to please take a look at this.
That filthy thing would suit filth like you just perfectly. Actually, it reminds me of what my grandson looks like just after he's done eating.
Have you ever seen this before?
Of course I haven't. Do you think I'd forget something as dirty as that? Well, you half-witted clot. What? What is it? Ever since I said you half-witted clot, there's been an eerie silence in here.
Mr. Kudo, this apron is the apron worn by the defendant on the day of the poisoning. And as you just said yourself, you wouldn't forget something like this. Which means, if you had really seen this apron before... Yes, you know what I'm getting at. You couldn't have possibly seen the waitress from the front. Oops.
Witness! You can't just oops your way out of this!
Well. Looks like we finally have a genuine trial on our hands. Listen, Trite, here are the facts. On the day of the incident, there was only one waitress in the restaurant.
That being the defendant, Ms. Maggie Bird.
Exactly. And when that one waitress put the poison into the coffee cup, this old guy was watching.
I hope you understand the gravity of the situation, Mr. Kudo. The fate of the defendant may rest on what you say you remember seeing.
Just tell the court exactly what you saw, Gramps.
You rely on me, Captain. My noggin's in perfect working order. I I can't remember a single occasion where I forgot what a burger a customer wanted.
He can't remember? Probably more like he messed up so many times he's blocking it out.
Very well. Let's test just how good your memory and attention to detail is, Mr. Kudo. Tell us what you remember about the victim.
About the victim. Here's another of those pesky young types wearing a broken pair of spectacles. He had a newspaper in his right hand, and the noisy brat kept rustling his pages. The young man was listening to the wireless. I remember that well. Then the serving girl in question brought over the Javachino. The little fidget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip.
The testimony we have just heard was to test how credible the witness's memory is. It seems to me that he remembers the victim in a great deal of detail.
Oh yes, I hate those you-know-what types who are so vague about everything.
How are we gonna handle this, Nick? And we only need to do one thing. We just need to prove that the old man's memory is shot. Just trip him up, you mean? Isn't that kind of cruel? I suppose. But it's what I do best. Okay, here we go.
Here's another one of those pesky young types wearing a broken pair of spectacles.
Spectacles?
Dark glasses to you! One of the lenses was green, but the other was broken. You fangled rubbish. That's why I remember him so well.
He did have some kind of lens over his left eye, but I wouldn't have called it a pair of glasses.
He seems to have been wearing some rather modern-looking shades. Perhaps I should take to wearing some and rival Mr. Godot's sharp appearance.
We better come up with something sharp and quick. I guess I'll wait and see if I should challenge him about these spectacles.
He had a newspaper in his right hand, and the noisy brat kept rustling his pages.
The newspaper was the sports paper, was it?
The young hooligan, I nearly asked him, can you even read without fidgeting, How was I supposed to be able to read the back page with all that rustling going on? I needed to find out if Gus and Braun retained his championship title.
It was his paper, not yours. You wanted to know so bad, why didn't you buy your own?
Well, what are you looking like that before I tell you to judge me?
Ow! Gus and Braun got beaten yesterday, by the way.
The young man was listening to the wireless. I remember that well.
Wireless.
The decadent young rascal. In my day, it was one or the other. Read the paper or listen to the wireless.
Oh, boy.
And using an earpiece. It's selfish, it's what it is. I was straight in my ears, but I couldn't catch any of it.
Was he that desperate to listen to the radio?
What are you looking like that, man, for? I tell you, feel sorry for me, you...
Ow!
Then the serving girl in question brought over the Javachino.
Oh, wait. Press. You mean the waitress who you only saw from behind, right?
Then you're one of those, aren't you? You never let anything go, is that right, you f***ing...
Maybe.
What's the matter if I only saw her from the front or from the behind? My eyes don't lie.
Ah! Better not push it until I have some hard evidence.
The little midget picked up the cup with his free hand and took a sip.
His free hand?
Yes.
Which hand was that?
Would you listen before cloth ears? I said he was rustling the newspaper with his right hand, didn't I? If his free hand wasn't his right hand, then which hand do you think you're burn?
Perhaps the great Mr. Trite has 3 hands.
Yeesh, I was only asking. No need to gang up on me and treat me like a freak. The whole point of this cross-examination is to establish just one thing. That this old guy's memory has more holes than a slice of Swiss. I guess we just need to find a contradiction in his testimony somewhere, huh? Anything will do, even the smallest detail. We just need one mistake, and he's ours. Okay, skipping ahead. Let's see. Oh. Judging by where the lip mark is, he was drinking that with his right hand. Right? Have I got that right? Yeah. So he couldn't have been holding the paper with his right hand. Mr. Kudo, do you remember what you were told at the start of this testimony? That this was a way of testing your credibility. That this was a way of testing the credibility of your memory?
I know. There's nothing wrong with my memory, I tell you. Nothing. If I got anything wrong, I'll eat these seeds and sing the pigeon song.
Care to tell us where this is going, Trite?
According to Mr. Kudo, the victim was holding the paper in his right hand while drinking coffee with his free hand, which would make his left.
What is this? Kindergarten?
But I would like the court to please take a look at this.
That's the cup the victim used, correct?
Yes. And on the rim, you'll notice the mark left by the victim's lips.
Yes. There's a stain left by the coffee.
If you consider where that stain is, you'll clearly see that the victim was holding the cup in his right hand.
No!
Well, Mr. Kudo, the court is waiting for your epic performance. Sing away! You said you'd eat those seeds and sing the pigeon song, so sing, you son of a bitch, sing!
Hey! Mr. Kudo, I'm afraid that this is simply not acceptable. I think the witness had better go back to the park where he came from.
Wait! You think I'm going to stand here and listen to you tell me I'm mad? You're wrong. I don't care about that dirty coffee cup. I know what I saw, and I saw what I saw, and I know what I know, and I saw what I know.
You still insist on your testimony?
A young ragamuffin holding a cup in his left hand, I tell you. Oh, yes, no question. I'm a good law-abiding citizen, I am. It's that dead young hotbot and you, the spiky-eared yahoo, who are at fault.
Who? Me?
Thank you, old man. We've heard quite enough from you already.
Don't call me old man, old man. Been around for 68 years, I have. You can't ignore me. Listen to what I've got to say.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but...
Sure. Why not hear a little more?
Mr. Kudo!
This is my 16th cup of coffee. So this is your final stand.
Thank you, Captain. You were a loud victor. Left hand or right hand? The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs. He kept fiddling with it all the time. He was fiddling with it just before he picked up the cup, too. And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup, his left hand. Okay, what if he was looking... Oh, no.
What if his view was mirrored? Like looking at the window or something? I don't know.
We know that the victim was wearing an unusual monocle over his left eye.
It wasn't a monocle, Your Honor. It was a small computer monitor often used by programmers.
A monitor? You mean like a television screen?
The inside of the lens is a screen that displays computer data. It's called an HMD. It's a common tool in the victim's line of work.
HETV, DVD, CD, EFG, HIJK, all these damn newfangled letters drive me mad, but they don't matter. I know what I saw, and I saw what I saw, and I know the truth, and I saw the truth, and I'm telling the truth, and you can't... You useless with a young spiky-haired...
Hey! Yeah, it's true, he doesn't seem to be lying.
And those are the facts in good old black and white, just like the good old days when the...
Oh my God, you can't say that sort of thing!
The boy was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the green lens of his specs.
So the victim was wearing an HMD.
HATV, what does that matter?
It was none of them, actually, but anyway. And you're sure that he was wearing the earpiece on the same side?
No question. I could only see the side of his head from where I was sitting.
Yeah, that's pretty obvious if you look at the floor plans. From the opposite table, he'd only have a view of the side of the victim's head. Okay.
He kept fiddling with it all the time.
Seems you kept an eye on Mr. Glenelg.
He's getting on my nerves. Rustling newspaper and fiddling with his earpiece all the time. Then he went and made all that fuss dying from one sip of cappuccino. I wanted to say to him, "Calm down, you young brat." Just looking at him made me suddenly speed up my seed eating. I could have choked.
So I take it the victim was a walking ball of nervous energy.
He was fiddling with it just before he picked up the cup, too.
The earpiece you mentioned. Which hand did the victim touch it with?
You're one of those people, aren't you? You're the type that uses your left hand to get things out of your right pocket. Or fastens your left cuff with your right hand. And when the tour guide says, on your right side, you'll see the famous blah blah blah, you're the only one who deliberately looks left. Well, aren't you?
No, I didn't mean...
Obviously, he used a hand on the same side of his body that the earpiece was in.
So if he had the HMD on his left side, then it was his left hand, I guess.
And then he used the same hand to pick up the cup. His left hand.
You seem very sure of yourself, Mr. Kudo.
That's because I know what I saw, no matter what tricks you try to play on me.
And it looks like he really did see the guy picking up the cup with his left hand. Or he thinks he did. This is a dead end. No, it's not. Well, Nick, what do you think? I think the guy's telling the truth. No, you don't. But even so, something's not quite right.
Then chuck evidence at him until he breaks.
But if he's not lying, then there wouldn't be any contradictions in his testimony, right? Okay, the earpiece. Okay, yeah, right there. Let's see. Kept fiddling with it. I guess this one. All right, prescription. Oh, damn it. Okay, not there. Not sure what the relevance of this is, but Mr. Kudo, there's something very strange about your observations of the victim.
What?
You say he was wearing the earpiece on the same side as the HMD.
No question. You can lock me up if I'm wrong. It was his left ear, without a doubt. I could only see that side of his head from where I was sitting.
I don't think so.
What did you say?
You're no doubt unaware of this fact, Mr. Kudo. But the victim couldn't hear with his left ear. His eardrum was ruptured.
What?
Traces of medication for his condition were found in his ear canal. That's right. It's impossible that the victim was wearing his earpiece in his left ear, because he couldn't even hear in that ear.
Is that true, Captain?
It is.
Pigeon! Pretty pigeon!
Oh, that was the pigeon song.
Order! Order! Order!
The witness's testimony is completely unreliable. He only saw the waitress from behind. And he claims the victim was wearing an earpiece when we know his eardrum was ruptured. Well, Mr. Godot, a single drop of milk is all it takes to destroy the pure black magic in the cup. This old man is my drop of milk.
Captain, are you calling me a drip?
This is the victim's coffee cup in which the potassium cyanide was found. The mark on the rim clearly shows that the victim picked it up with his right hand.
I'll never back down. I know I'm right. The lad drank his Travaccino with his left hand.
Let me put you out of your misery. Clearly, the victim used both hands. He took a sip with the cup held in his right hand, and then switched to his left. That's what the old man saw. Impossible! He took one sip of coffee and died. The witness has already testified on numerous occasions that the victim died immediately after taking just one sip of the coffee. Granted, he could be wrong about that too, or just being hyperbolic. Which hand the victim used to pick up his cup is irrelevant, Your Honor. The facts still stand. With one hand or the other, Mr. Elg drank the poisoned coffee. Like this. Sadly, Mr. Godot, that doesn't wash. The point of this testimony was to establish whether the witness's memory is credible. And the results are clear. The testimony given by this witness is useless.
I believe it is time to conclude today's proceedings. I am satisfied that the witness is not deceiving the court. But to be frank, his testimony is a farce.
Did you have to be so frank? Take that, you puppet's old fogey!
I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, you can't reach me from there. I am ordering the defense and the prosecution to investigate this case further. That is all for now. This court is adjourned.
Wait! If we stop now, where does that leave me?
Leave you, Mr. Kudo?
Thanks to that blue student's young upstart over there, I'm just a bumbling old man who can't even dot his T's and cross his I's now.
How is your bad memory my fault?
I'm sorry, Mr. Kudo, but there's nothing I can do.
I've kept my mouth shut until now, but there's something else the court should know.
What? There's more.
To be perfectly honest, it might not be anything. But I want another chance. I want another crack at you, you young shark.
Me? It's looking at me like I'm some sort of evil shogun.
Well, everyone, what do you say? There's one final showdown. The final chapter in this eccentric old man's scrapbook.
Sorry, Gramps. I've already had my 17th cup of coffee.
What have you got to lose, Captain? I'll give you all the cappuccino you want if you come to my house after the trial. I may be 68 years old, but Victor Kudo is still a man, and I will prove it on your... you handsome young devil, you.
That's enough, witness. Please do not proposition the prosecution in that manner while court is still in session. You can do that later. I believe it will be quicker for the court to just hear your testimony.
You bet. Much, much quicker.
I can't believe this is happening.
You better get ready, youngster.
I get the picture. Just quit throwing those seeds at me, would you? He's got to be using some sort of infinite ammo code with that box of seeds.
The final showdown. First of all, I want to stress that this might be nothing. I'm not too sure myself. The young boy slumped over the table as soon as he took one sip of his cappuccino. Well, the clumsy idiot upset the vase. He knocked it right over. It broke, and the strip of cloth covering the table got completely soaked. Well, how about that? Turn things upside down,
Is that all?
Yes, that's all. I remember it perfectly. You're telling me again? You're telling a poor defenseless old man?
No, we're not doubting you, Mr. Kudo.
Don't you get the feeling there's a question hanging on everyone's lips, Nick? Yeah. So what? Probably. That's all I can think of, and I have to cross-examine this guy.
You're a bird brain. That's why that's all you can think of.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Your final cross-examination, please.
Yeah, that final showdown. Okay, first of all, crime scene photo. The vase is still standing. The tablecloth isn't wet except from the coffee stain. Okay. Okay, here. Mr. Kudo, this is a photograph of the crime scene.
So what?
Look carefully at the table. The vase is there, intact.
Huh?
That means it's not broken. Lost your tongue, Granddad?
I'm no granddad of yours, hopscotch.
Ow!
Enough! You throw any more seeds in this courtroom, the cleaners will be here all night. What is it now?
I just remembered something.
Yes, go on.
The broken vase. It was on my table.
What?
You see, it startled me when that young lad collapsed. So I stood up. That must have been when it fell over. The vase on my table, I mean.
The vase on your table.
Yes, it was on my table. And that's how my groin came to be completely soaked.
We didn't ask about your groin, old man.
Thank you, Mr. Kudo. Certainly earned your kudos for today.
I'd like to ask a question now. Have I been of any use at all?
Perhaps that's something you should reflect on yourself, Mr. Kudo.
Wait a minute. If that's the case, there's more. I've got more to say. Oh, yes, I remember something else.
Bailiff, escort the witness out of the courtroom.
Wait, listen to me.
Well, we seem to have been considerably sidetracked. I am still not in a position to deliver a verdict. The defendant has not been positively identified as the waitress in question. Additionally, there are 2 disparities in the testimony we have heard thus far.
The mark on the coffee cup that the victim supposedly drank from with his left hand, and the earpiece which was inserted into his left ear, out of which he couldn't hear. Wow, Nick, you did it!
I therefore require both the defense and the prosecution to further investigate the facts.
Yes, Your Honor.
There is one more thing before I call today's session to an end.
One more thing, Your Honor.
The witness we just heard from. He is most insistent that his testimony should be of use. So he summarized it accordingly into this statement.
Okay.
You may each have a copy of it, if you wish, for what little good it will grant you.
Whatever.
The prosecution doesn't need props like that.
Kudo's really mad, huh?
Yeah, I would be too. I am, actually. Very well.
Did you hear some of the things he called me?
I'm trying to wrap this up right.
Oh, sorry.
Here you are then, Mr. Wright. There are 3 copies. My own, yours, and Mr. Godot's.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm sorry? This isn't a piece of testimony, more like a 5-year-old's apology. What the heck are we supposed to do with 3 copies?
That is all. This court is adjourned.
To be continued. In the next episode, do the outro! Well, that wasn't a complete waste of time, I guess. At least Kudo managed to put some doubt in the judge's mind about just who the waitress who poisoned Mr. Elg was. So, I'm guessing the goth chick is the person Kudo saw, and probably our poisoner. Though I'm still certain that the faux Phoenix had something to do with the entire thing. Faux Phoenix. Phoenix. Oh, come on, Mina. Phoenix. It was right there, and the best you could come up with was Phoenix backwards. Anywho, we'll continue our investigations next time. Hopefully get something we can work with. In the meantime, up here is a playlist of my Danganronpa Goodbye Despair playthrough, and down here is a video that YouTube recommends. Also, if you'd like to get videos a week early, we have channel memberships, or if you'd like to buy me a coffee, there's also the super thanks thingy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!